Hi, everyone. This is Gary Wilson, and welcome to WealthWise Wednesdays. This is the first in a series of Wednesday, 8 p.m. Eastern live Facebook Live events. Okay. Uh, Tonight, just a brief introduction. The subject matter has to do with investing in different areas of the U.S. and Canada. Okay. So the reason I bring this up is I just had a pretty awesome podcast interview this morning with a guy named Paul Morris, who co-authored the book Wealth Can't Wait. He's invested here where I am right now in the greater LA area, Southern California, and also back east in Pittsburgh. I've invested there too myself. So in any case, great podcast. Some of the subject that came up though was a lot of people, if you're in these big city areas, it's like there's this mindset that, hey, it's too expensive, you can't afford to invest here, you can't cash flow, and you can't find any inventory. And all that is just limiting beliefs, negative mindset stuff. And I know that sounds like theory, but I'm going to explain why that's not true. Okay. So a couple things here. Everything is relative, right? In fact, right here in the greater LA area, there are certain neighborhoods that are like 82% rentals. All right. Now we're not talking about down and out neighborhoods. We're talking like Hollywood and Beverly Hills. Okay. 82% rentals. Okay. West Hollywood, 82% rentals. What that means is literally 4 out of every 5 residential units is owned by an investor, okay, in one of the most expensive areas of the country. I mean, these people are not stupid people, they're smart people, right? So everything's relative. So just know this, always use data, always look at the data, look at your data sources to determine, where you should invest, okay, and what it takes to invest in those areas. So don't be, and most investors always go for the cheap areas, and man, you end up with cheap properties and a lot of headaches. Some of you know what I'm talking about, okay? I know you know what I'm talking about. So you get crappy properties, you're gonna get crappy tenants. That's just the name of the game, all right? So in the world of buying and holding real estate rentals, you wanna always buy where you can buy decent, solid C plus properties, maybe some B minus in there, okay? But the reality is, if you try to go for the C minus and below, going to be a world that all these gray hairs, that's where that came from. I know from experience, okay? But in any case, what's interesting too is like pricing. Yes, it's expensive, but everything's relative. And I know investors who will buy properties temporarily with a negative cash flow, knowing that there's a value add to the property. Okay, in other words, over time they can improve the physical stature of the property and thereby raise rents, or they can, maybe it's poorly managed, and they can manage a property into productivity, into profitability. Okay, 2 different basic strategies for value adds. One is through management. One is through, improving the physical nature of the property. Okay, so in any case, so don't be afraid to buy a property. Maybe it's the worst property, but in the best neighborhood. You follow what I'm saying? So go for the right areas. Lots of data sources like citydata.com, Mashvisor, okay? Crazy enough, even Wikipedia is a great resource for data. You can use the uscensus.gov, or if you're Canadian, use your Canada Stats, right? All kinds of very pertinent, valuable data that you can drill down to the little, they call them tracks, census tracks. Find anything you want, demographics, social graphics, anything you want about people, anything you want to know about properties, it's all in there. All kinds of tools, right? So the point is this is, success is as a result of education plus information plus action. The cool thing about education is it shows you how to get and use the information so that you can take effective, profitable action, okay? It's the action part that separates the successful people from those that aren't, okay? It's just a simple matter of taking action. So in any case, cool thing is this. In the LA area, just give an example here. Here's what's neat. Paul and one of his partners, a year and a half, 2 years ago, picked up a property in Long Beach, 24-unit building. I just ran into his partner, David Cullen, a couple weeks back in Long Beach, teaching a class, and they're getting ready to sell it in February for, I think, 4.7, something like that. Crazy. But it just goes to show you everything is relative. You can invest right here in a highly densely populated area where things are expensive, just like you can invest in, Lansing, Michigan, or Lafayette, Indiana, or Macon, Georgia, or Orem, Utah, all these, Abilene, Texas. Great little areas, all tier 2 and tier 3 cities based on size, but that's where you get lower priced properties. Now in those areas, just because it's lower price doesn't mean it's a bad property. It's just the nature of that area, right? So cap rates are naturally going to be higher. But back to what I was describing, there's 3 things that came up in today's podcast. There's 3 important rules. Number 1, always buy for value add, okay? Value add, look for the value add. It doesn't mean you're buying, in a bad area. You're buying a property that relative to the area, you can improve the value. It's a value add. Number 1. Number 2 is cash flow. Make sure the property, if it doesn't cash flow today, through the value add, it will cash flow, okay? So value add and cash flow, 2 important things to remember, 2 rules to live by when you're investing in rental properties. The third rule is this never invest in an area that you don't know anything about, okay? I know that sounds crazy because we've all invested all over the US and Canada, but we learn about the areas. Now think about me personally. What's one advantage I have? Well, I've traveled literally to close to 700 cities and towns in the last 4 years. And I've researched every single one because I go there to teach a class. All right. That's why I tell people, just being part of the community. Go to myinvestorservices.com. If you're not a member, you can join it. They didn't want a different level, so you can participate, but at least participate. My gosh, network with people from all over who are investing in those areas. I can tell you some of my students, particularly mastermind students, are joining forces and investing in parts of the country some of them never even been to, but the other guy has, or they have a contact there. And more importantly, you watch how you pay attention to how I teach you to use these tools for research to get the data. Remember, we like to make data-driven decisions, make decisions based on facts and information where we don't guess. We're not just listening to some old realtor tell us this was a great deal. We don't work with those realtors. We work with investor agents that I personally trained to work with all of us investors. Okay, so we've got them all over every city and town you can possibly imagine. They're there for you to use, okay? So in any case, so invest in an area you can get information on or you know about personally. Invest for value and also cash flow, okay? So remember, if you're in an expensive area, Vancouver, Toronto, New York City, I mean, they're all expensive. Look for the opportunity, even though if you might have negative cash flow temporarily, for the increase in cash flow over time. What's cool about those areas too, they appreciate far more than other areas. Just look at the numbers, look at the history, okay? Another thing that came out of the podcast too, by the way, is this, guys. When you're going to an area that you're not familiar with, what's one thing you can do to overcome the obstacle of not being familiar with the area? So if those of you who are live here, Lorna, how you doing, Lorna? Martin and Lorna, my gosh. Give me a call, guys. I want to talk because I don't think we ever had a strategy call. All right, and this is very pertinent for where you are in Michigan. Good to see you guys, by the way. Maximo, good to see you, man. Ralph Nobles, good to see you. So I want you to give me an idea. If you're going to invest in an area that you're not familiar with, what's one thing you can do to reduce your risk? So just type in what you think that is. It could be a number of answers, and I'll give you a second, and I'll give you my number 1 answer, okay? All right, my number 1 answer is this. Partner with somebody, all right? I don't mean like for Martin and Lorna, I wouldn't suggest you partner with your clients. I know you're investor agents, but you could partner with other investor agents, okay? For those of you who are not agents, you can partner with each other. I just don't recommend investors and agents partnering together on deals. What I do recommend is this, though. You could join forces, and when you partner, I mean have the partner have skin in the game. What that does for me is if I go into an area and I've partnered with people before, I want to make sure whoever I'm partnering with has some skin in the game, some equity stake in the property, because that gives me confidence that they're not going to put their hard-earned money at stake by taking unnecessary risk. So I have confidence that I'm partnering with somebody who's putting skin in the game too. That gives me confidence. That's my number 1 answer. So Maximo says, what's the name of the podcast? So Maximo, it's called Real Estate Investing for Professional Men and Women. So for Martin, Lorna, Maximo, Ralph, guys, they're launching it this week. The first podcast is going out this week. I've already done like 30 some odd recordings. So we got a whole year's worth of stuff we're going to put out there. And I'm constantly interviewing people every week. I mean, top-notch investors, people like Paul Morris, he's a New York Times bestselling author. He's got 700 units just in Pittsburgh alone. He's got 150,000 square feet of industrial space out here. In any case, so that's the podcast, so pay attention to that. And also just go on the community site, network with each other, okay? But partnering is one thing you can definitely do to mitigate your risk. So another thing I wanted you to consider is the tools that you use. I gave you some tools at the beginning of the live Facebook live feed here. But go to myinvestmentservices.com, click on members area, then log into server level. And on the left-hand side, you're going to see a blue panel. And scroll down through there, you'll see recorded webinars. There's over 250 of them on every subject you can imagine related to real estate. But down towards the bottom, there's two tabs. One of them says marketing tools and strategies, and there's different things you can do marketing-wise to get yourself some inventory. Under some inventory, go under the radar screen, okay? And also marketing tools to locate specific people, specific owners of specific properties, or specific consumers who we know are more likely to want to invest. Okay, that's all in there. And also what's in there are probably a dozen or more different websites you can use to research, to find anything you want about any person or any property. The main thing about this live, Wednesday, Wealthwise Wednesdays is when you're first starting off, we want to do a little research, we want to get a little data, because it's the information that gives us confidence in making good decisions. There are lots of tools out there. My gosh, BRB publications, your own tax assessor's database. Every county's got one, and they're all unique. So I can't tell you the different names because everyone's different. 3,144 counties in the U.S. alone. That means 3,144 websites. But just look in your one for your area. Okay. Again, USCensus.gov, your Stats Canada. But also your public records is available. Every county makes its public records available to the public. Public records are court records, okay, who's evicting whom, who's filing bankruptcy, who's filing foreclosure, who's in probate, who's going through divorce, landlord-tenant cases. All those are out there. And all of those people going through like a landlord-tenant case, chances are that landlord might be interested in selling because they're evicting somebody. It's a pain in the butt, okay? So in any case, lots of excellent tools you can use to research. So let me just get to some of these questions here. So this is Maximo. Hey, Maximo. Maximo saying, I'm a new agent with about 6 months experience, and I want to focus on being an investor agent so I can invest myself. Well, boy, you're in the right place. So, just follow through on the material. I'm pretty sure you're one of the active students in the investor agent training program. If you're not, Maximo, you definitely need to be, especially if you're an agent. But email, I think it's support@myinvestmentservices.com, and you can get the information there. Let's see, Maximo was asking, what was the site after CityData? CityData.com. Wikipedia. Wikipedia is a great tool. Also, MASH-Visor, M-A-S-H Visor, great research tool. They give you a month for free, then you got to pay for it after that. But it's a very nominal fee, like $30 a month or something. What's another one? Let's see. I mentioned BRB publication. Oh, here's one for you guys interested in Airbnb. It's called AirDNA. DNA, like your DNA in your body. AirDNA. That's a great tool. Let's see. MASH-Visor. Here's one. Rebo Gateway, REBO-Gateway, another great resource tool. Again, it's another one you got to pay $30 a month for. If you are an agent, you also have access to something called RPR. It's through NAR, National Association of Realtors, NAR. In there, just go in their search bar, type in RPR. That's Ralph, Peter, Ralph, RPR. RPR is a great tool to help you gather data from the different MLS systems and see what's happening in your area. So, and if you're a member, it's free, right? So, in any case, I'm actually appreciate the questions. Good questions, man. So let's do this, guys. I only wanted to go about 15 minutes tonight. I also want to tell you guys, if you would like to go to Anaheim, Disneyland, Anaheim, California, April 5th, 6th, and 7th, we're doing our first. We're only doing 4 3-day events this year. Last one we did was in Chicago. Who else was there? I'm trying to think. Martin and Lorna, you guys were there. Okay. The next one's at Anaheim. There's only 4 this year. Anaheim 4th, April 4th, 5th, and 6th at the Anaheim Marriott. Okay. If you're an active student, of course, you get to go for free, and they're going to feed you lunch on both days. Friday, Saturday, Sunday's a half a day. We also do something different this time. So Martin and Lorna, we're doing some special events on Friday and Saturday night. We got some special guests coming. It's going to be pretty cool. We're already at I think more than 35 people are registered. We're capping this one off at 100 people. So if you guys can make that, that'd be great. Also tune in next Wednesday, Wealthwise Wednesdays next week. That'll be again 8 p.m. Eastern. We'll do that every single week. And what I'll do is I'll start doing the podcast interviews. I use Zoom to do that, guys. I'm going to start loading those up, connecting it directly to Facebook Live. So you'll see some live interviews going through Facebook Live that also are being recorded too. So pretty cool stuff. I'm glad to do it. Hope you guys like this. I'd love your feedback whenever you get a chance. So in any case, in the meantime, you guys, let's see, can agents wholesale property? That's Maximo. Yes, they can. So Maximo, there's a whole program just on wholesaling. And in there, in fact, at the 3-day event, one of the subjects I focus on is wholesaling when you're a licensed agent. I know people will tell you, particularly brokers, will say, we don't want you doing that. That's because people don't do it right. There's an absolute correct way to do it. And we'll certainly teach you how to do that, Maximo. So just hang on, you stay on board, stay with the program, communicate, network with everybody, and I promise you'll learn as much from that as you will from any of the material that I can give you. But the answer is yes, the material is out there, and you can definitely wholesale as an agent. In fact, you can make money like 5 different ways on any wholesale deal. Okay, guys, I'm going to wrap this one up, and I hope you have a great night, you and your families. God bless you all, and keep me informed. Reach out to me, email me, give me a call. Martin and Lorna, please go set up a strategy call. I'd love to talk to you guys and see how I can help you out, see what you're doing. All right, guys, have a great night, and we will see you next week. Take care, and God bless. Bye-bye.